The National Health Insurance Authority, NHIA, was established under the National Health Insurance Act, which was signed into law on May 19, 2022, replacing the National Health Insurance Scheme Act of 1999. With a mandate to attain universal health coverage in Nigeria by the year 2030, it has a mission to mobilize and pool financial resources for strategic purchasing of affordable and quality healthcare for all Nigerians. But how affordable has it been, and what is the quality that is available? These are the issues we'll be tackling in this edition of the program. My name is Leah Katung-Babatunde, and you're welcome to the Policy with Leah. We start off the business of the day from the trends table.
President Bola Tinubu has directed the expedited rollout of the Free Healthcare Access Initiative for low-income retirees under the Contributory Pension Scheme (CPS), describing it as a critical component of social protection and dignity in retirement. The president also called for the prompt implementation of long overdue pension increases and a minimum pension guarantee, which will provide a safety net for the most vulnerable pensioners under the CPS. The president, who gave the directives after receiving a briefing from Ms. Kolawole Owoka, the Director General of the National Pension Commission (PENCOM), further mandated her to urgently resolve the long-standing police pension issue, emphasizing that members of the police force who serve and protect the nation deserve to retire with dignity and peace of mind. President Bola Tinubu has assented to the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Bill 2025, a landmark legislation to strengthen Nigeria's financial sector and accelerate the nation's march toward a $1 trillion economy. The reform introduced by the new law is expected to catalyze new investments, boost consumer confidence, and position Nigeria as a leading insurance hub in Africa. The Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Act (NHIA) 2025 repeals and consolidates several outdated insurance laws into a single model legal framework and provides for comprehensive regulation and supervision of all insurance and reinsurance businesses operating within Nigeria. The Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) says it has officially concluded the forensic audit of undelivered forward foreign exchange transactions and refunded the value of all unfulfilled and unvalidated deals to banks in Naira. CBN disclosed this in a letter signed by Oke Omiano, the acting director of the Financial Markets Department, and addressed to all authorized dealer banks. The letter noted that all validated transactions had been paid, while the local currency equivalent of outstanding and unverified transactions had been returned to the banks. The federal government is set to introduce tax incentives for Nigerian manufacturers that use locally sourced materials in a bid to curb the high import of raw materials and other manufacturing inputs into Nigeria. Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology Uche Naji at the 2025 Nigerian Manufacturing and Equipment and Nigerian Raw Materials Expo in Lagos said, the government has approved the plan to grant Raw Materials Research and Development Council (RMRDC) the authority to implement significant tax incentives designed to reward manufacturers and innovators using locally sourced inputs in their production processes. Under the proposed incentives, the corporate firms in agro-processing, pharmaceuticals, polymers, fabric, green tech, amongst others, would get tax credits, duty reliefs, investment allowances, and excise waivers.
Coming up next is our policy conversation on Nigeria's health insurance scheme. The NHIS Act 2004 and the NHIA Act 2022 aim to achieve universal health coverage by providing financial access to quality health care for all Nigerians. However, the issues faced by beneficiaries include inefficient service delivery, inadequate healthcare infrastructure, and poor resource management. Dr. Kolawole Owoka is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of United Healthcare International, one of Nigeria's HMOs, and he joins me to look at the issues. It's nice to have you join me for this conversation, sir.
Thank you, Leah, for having me.
Thank you, sir. So, for starters, it's been 20 years and counting. How would you assess the performance of health insurance in Nigeria?
I will not want to board the viewers with the hiccup and the teething problems from the beginning 2005. But I will want them to look at when the new minister, Professor Pate, came in, and the new DG of the NHIA, Dr. Kelechi Ohiri, because they have brought in innovation. Let's talk of coverage and enrollment. 2023, 16.8 million Nigerians. But by 2024, the new DG brought it to 20 million. This is 2025. Newly enrolled, as of now, 800,000. So you see that the momentum is up, and we want to keep it up. And if you look at it, there is peace and stability in the health insurance industry now, because everybody knows that this man really is going by the books. He called consultants. We call them actuarial scientists, because they are the people who can tell you this is the premium you pay for this benefit package. Otherwise, previously they used to do it just off-head, which has not been good. But now providers are happy because the premium has been given up. So they get more on capitation. Capitation is the payment we make every month, whether you go or not, once you are enrolled to every provider. And then their fee for service is the claims they send if you are referred to higher secondary treatments. If you look at it, quality of service has increased because now NHIA trained 175 field officers. These officers ascertain the level of quality of the services. And then Nigerians too, is now they are getting to know that once you are enrolled, your HMO is your ombudsman. By being that any problem you have, any complaints you have, any grievances you have, call them 24/7. It's a must for every HMO to have a call center. So 24/7 you can get redress. Even if you have problem with that hospital, they are so empowered that they can immediately give you a hospital on the spot before they solve all those problems. So I'm appealing to Nigerians to make use of them. That is what they are created for in this scheme. Quality is better, getting better. Coverage is increasing. Then the actual utilization. And the most important, anybody anywhere in Nigeria today, if you need a cesarean section, it's free. Anywhere. Please call me or call any HMO. It is free. Or call any NHIA offices. They have offices around the country, almost every state. In fact, in Abuja, they have two. One in the headquarters and one in the zonal office. So that means you can get any cesarean section is free. Any complication of pregnancy is free. These are the innovations they have brought and it's working. And over 200 specialized hospitals have been designed for it. I just visited Gwarinpa General Hospital in Abuja here with the DG. And for the first time, there is now what is called FFP, Free Fistula Program. It is free. They even give them transports anywhere. So if you can identify anybody with fistula, it is free. Please bring them. Send them to me or send them to any NHIA office nationwide or send them to any HMO. They'll be directed. Complications of obstetrics maternal is free. This is because they are targeting all those birth statistics. Do you know that if you have 100,000 live births, 512 of them will die? That is the statistics. In fact, it's higher than that in some areas. That's why some people say in Nigeria, sometimes it is as if you put a plane load of women and crash all of them. So because of that bad statistics, that is why this is introduced, and it is working very well. The policies are changing now. I'm happy you now mentioned that 2022 Act makes it mandatory. So it is now left, and NHIA is encouraging every state to make sure that this thing is mandatory, because it cannot be done only by the federal. It has to be done throughout the country.
Well, I noticed actually that Imo State in particular is going to the local government and the ward level to get their people registered.
Registered, very
Yes.
good. Because every state now has what is called Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. So funding now, when there is a scheme called 1% Consolidated Fund, which is for health. Out of this 1%, 50% of it goes to primary healthcare development. Then another 50% comes to the NHIA. From this 50%, 5% is also for emergency like ambulance and so on. So the 45% is for the health insurance. So you see that we now have funds set aside, unlike before where you cannot really distinguish where money is coming from. So the funds are set aside.
We've heard over time, and I want to know if these concerns have been addressed, that patients in most hospitals will complain that they are not being treated fairly because they are insurance patients, and so you end up having that some payments you have to do out of pocket because you'll be told, oh, insurance does not cover this.
Thank you. That is why I said what we need mostly for Nigerians is information, communication, and education. A program has been set up. In that program, you have an ombudsman, your HMO. Call your HMO 24 hours. If you have any complaint or grievance, you will see that it will be solved and you'll be surprised. A man was kneeling down for me because they gave him, after having his orthopedic, they also gave him all the walking sticks and so on. I said, yes, it's part of it. It's not me. I did not provide it. It's part of the scheme. Our job as HMO is to tell you this is the benefit package in the scheme, and that is your entitlement because you are a Nigerian. It's your right. Now, if you need to pay something, you know it will not be as high as those days where you are paying 70%. You know, out of pocket expenses for Nigerian before used to be 70%. But even you need to pay something now, you see that it will not be as much as that. But first and foremost, make use of that channel. Report to your HMO. Any complaint you have.
Also, there are many workplaces and there are families who are not covered, unlike the one that at the federal level that is compulsory. It's even taken directly from your salaries. So these new innovations, how is it targeted at bringing them in?
Yes, we call them the informal sector. The informal sector, funny enough, is 80% of the country. So we have no choice than to bring them in. So what NHIA has started now is what they call GIF-SHIP. Group, individual, family. So GIF, SHIP program. In this group, individual and family, they won't need to pay as much as the NHIA tariff. So their own money has been reduced, but you can only come as a group, individual, or family for it. You just, any NHIA office, walk there and you'll be registered. And that is for the informal sector. Now, for the vulnerable, who cannot even pay, because whether you like it or not, you see people cannot pay. That's why NHIA is also encouraging every state, they get what is called Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, and that is what they need them for. So they are now saying they are using the social register of every state to make sure they get to them so that they can get treated. But I can assure you that any SMA you know now, any small, medium enterprises, tell them to go and buy GIF-SHIP for their staff. The cost is low, so they will not need to spend much, and their staff will be covered.
We also get to hear people say, I don't need health insurance because it's not a priority. What would you say about that?
When I hear that, I just laugh because it's lack of information. 300 BC, we had a scientist called Herophilus. Herophilus said, if you lose your health, your wisdom cannot be applied. your art cannot manifest. Your wealth is useless. And there's nothing you can do. So that tells you health is everything. Let them just pray not to lose that health. Because the day they lose it, they will know that they need it. And then not only that, if you have your health card with you, and every member of your family has, you are busy now with your program, and a phone rings that somebody somewhere close to you is sick. If you know that everybody has a health card, you just remind him, have you taken your health card? Have you gone to your hospital? Because once health challenge starts, the first anxiety is, where will they get the money? Whether you say you have complaints with it or not, it's better. Have it first. In Rwanda, if you don't have it, your neighbor will make sure you get it. The sensitization has gone deep to all the suburbs. Because your neighbor will say, don't be a problem to me in the night and come and wake me or something. No, it is only 60 cents. So that means we still need to find a way in Nigeria to make it cheaper so that we can bring everybody. We are 200 million. Tell every Nigerian to pay 100 naira. Multiply 100 naira by 200 million. That is 20 billion in a day. There's no health that you cannot get for everybody if you can get that money. Even if you don't get up to 200 million pay, let half of the Nigerians pay. That's 10 billion a day. And if it is put in the hands of selected people by the government, you will see that apart from what the government is doing, health will come to every Nigerian.
I would like to hear from you how we can make it work better for all. That's now looking at what those at the regulatory level have to do, and those saddled with the responsibility of making it happen, like you. What we should be expecting?
You learn from developed world. This is a global trend. This is what the whole world is doing. How did they do it? Because when you study how they do it, then you will now sit back and be able to strategize how Nigeria should do it. We are doing our best, but let me give you some scenario that will tell you what other things we need to do. The Chancellor of Germany, Otto von Bismarck, started health insurance in 1883. Not 1983 or not 2003, I'm talking 1883. And what did he do? He knew himself that the money cannot be enough. So he decided to phase it out and make it compulsory. So we are lucky that Nigeria too, we have made it compulsory now. So let's go forward. Whether we want to phase it out or we want to arrange, as I mentioned to you, 100 naira per day for people to pay. Or some people are even saying, can't we say, there's nobody in this country today that is not using telephone. Why can't we say, just take 1 kobo from every telephone call everybody makes? That money will be humongous. And Nigeria will be home and dry when you are talking of health. So in 1883, he started and made health insurance compulsory in Germany. That's the start of health insurance. In 1914, he started all the civil servants there. In 1930, he brought in all the dependents. In 1975, he brought in all the students. So you can see, in 1988, that is 105 years. You calculate 1883 to 1988, 105 years before Germany had universal health coverage. So that is one scenario. But Nigerians can't wait for 105 years, you know that. We are impatient. But let's take Britain. Britain used only 1 day to get to universal health coverage. But that 1 day, if you see the publicity that went to it, it was more, I'm sure everybody knows the publicity that went to COVID. It was more than that. Because every village in Britain had a leaflet or they knew what to do before it was launched in 1948. And everybody agreed that X amount should be taken from their salary. So you see, we need 2 things. One, patriotism. How do we galvanize vigorously our people to let them know that, look, let us all contribute to this health. We cannot leave it alone to government. And then we need political will by the local government, by the state, by the federal. If we can get those two things, patriotism and political will, that's how we can move. Let me tell you about Finland. 1930, they had the worst maternal mortality. So they just decided that, okay, the reason is because many of them still deliver at home. And then no problem. If you can deliver in the hospital, there is an incentive for you. You get a cab where you can keep your child and other things that you need for about a month to take care of your child. Between that 1930 and 1949, every woman started going to the hospital to deliver. We need something like that, an incentive for mothers in Nigeria. You will see that all those who deliver in the bushes will come to the hospitals to deliver. Mexico didn't have universal health coverage before 2003. They also made their law mandatory in 2003. So what they did, they now said, okay, like NHIA now, they can tell you how much per person to get health. So they just calculated it and multiplied by 50 million. So if Nigeria just decided, today I'm giving 70 million Nigerians. You know, those who can take care of themselves, they don't need to wait for government. Even if you set everything up, they will still jet out to do their thing. So leave them alone. The only thing is what the assembly is trying to do, that, look, you can go and use your money, but don't use government money. But let everybody, whether rich or poor, take part. Because health insurance is a risk protection. Therefore, let everybody, the rich and the poor, contribute. If the rich can subsidize the poor, the youth, except for malaria, many of them are hardly sick. The youth will subsidize the old, who are always having one problem or the other. You see? And therefore, this subsidy will all interact and balance up to make it succeed. Because some people are naturally healthy, and some people are sick. So the healthy will also subsidize the sick, and everything will come together and make it work fine.
Okay, I must sincerely thank you, Dr. Owoka, for making time for this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
The policy with Leah quite certainly is a show to turn to when it comes to policymakers' desire to monitor and respond to challenges within the capital markets ecosystem and the economy in general. I am Sterling Ellis, a duly qualified capital markets professional in Nigeria, in the United Kingdom, and in the United States of America. Enjoy the policy with Leah.
And from that, we move to our education segment, Simplify This. We take you to the commodities market from there. For more on rates from markets across the country, do well to log on to our sister website. It is www.marketnigeriatv.com. We have all the details there for you. We draw the curtains here, but don't forget that this episode and every other one is available on YouTube on our channel. It is at Saban Media Services. The Policy with Leah is available on Kaftan TV, Global TV Nigeria, and KSMC News. Until we come your way again same time next week, be good out there and God bless Nigeria.